Hello there everybody, Sabanai2 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Hellgirl 2 Mirrors, or Jigoku Shoujo with the funny name that I cannot pronounce. So, last week was definitely unsettling. We had ourselves a pair of siblings where the brother was, cross-dressing, kind of also stealing his sister's boyfriends and essentially somewhat ruining her own social life. And I just felt incredibly uncomfortable during that entire thing, honestly. Oh, one more thing. As for the volume, that's my B, mostly because the website the website that I'm watching this from, the volume difference is kind of staggering whenever I have because I have all of my normal settings set up for whenever I record, but it's very inconsistent with uh this site, which is kind of a bit of a problem. And on a somewhat lighter note, though, I would say probably my favorite episode of last week specifically revolved around the movie developer, who was, I mean, technically he was stringing along these women, including One, or who is also kind of a part of this, the lady of the Residents of Hell. She was just kind of tagging along with them, and obviously, first things first, I already feel bad for that one girl that he pretty much scammed. What was it, like 3 million yen out of? Ugh, that just. But the weirdest thing was that, like, his ex, as well, I don't even want to say ex-wife, but his wife, his new flame, and the resident of hell. They were just casually chilling, even though he kind of strung them along. They somehow got along quite well, which was very bizarre to see. And I don't know, like, it didn't really seem all that malicious last week with that episode, especially because really the person that sent him to hell was just some rando whose car got scuffed and had coffee spilt on him, which I can kind of understand considering coffee is fucking hot. But I mean, fuck, I wouldn't want to wish somebody to go to hell or shit like that. I would want them to get punished, like law wise, but fucking is dooming yourself to go to hell over something like that. That dude gets triggered real fucking easily. That, or maybe he was just having an incredibly bad day and it just all of a sudden he just fucking snapped. It just fucking happened because apparently shit like that happens. But watching the Residents of Hell, like, here, you get to direct your very own movie of how you get to go to hell. Here, just we're gonna play favorites with you. You get to direct how you want to go to hell and all that. Like, that was actually quite interesting, and the fact that he just kind of took it like a champ, and he was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, I knew I was bound to go to hell. May as well have some fun with it." Like, that was very interesting. Now I'm wondering how this week is going to handle, or at least how this week is going to go. So hopefully the volume's a little bit better. No, it wasn't copyright issues, to be fair, because I'm not really making any money on these. Okay, how the. Okay. I wasn't ready for that twist. Although I did slightly predict kind of the reasoning, sort of. But admittedly, though, it's something that I should have taken into account that if this woman really cared, really considered that cat to be her only friend, then I really should have realized that she would not have actively done what I thought she did. And going back to that moment where right after the string had been pulled, you see you actually see some of the flashback. It was a very brief image. It was black and white except for the red fleshy stuff. However, the thing that she seemed to be scooping it out of was very much similar to an actual meat package that they've got. The ones that have like the clear plastic wrapping on top of it. I should have noticed that. But my brain instantly registered that it must have been some sort of plate instead. But damn. And that revelation about how they both really, really cared about the cat. They both really did. But this antisocial woman even said that the thought never crossed her mind about trying to talk to her neighbor. Like, damn. This episode hurt. Those last few minutes, those freaking hurt just watching that. Because for those of you who obviously know, I have a cat, my little cat Midnight, and ugh, that one just really freaking scared the fuck out of me. But boy, am I happy that she never actually. Oh, that's a fucking relief. Oh god, please, at next episode, I am begging you, don't fuck with me like this. I'm gonna go jump into the next episode, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, okay, I'm gonna take a breather though first. Hello there, everybody, and now we are on episode 12 of Hellgirl 2 Mirrors. I don't even want to get into the last episode just because of how it made me feel so. Okay, if last week made me feel uncomfortable, that episode made me feel incredibly sick. Just. And it was a misplaced feeling of sick till it was kind of revealed what the actual truth concerning this woman's obsession with that cat, and it being a kind of understandable, somewhat obsession over literally the only friend you have being a cat, because you're antisocial and you're very much reclusive. But the overreaction to trying to somewhat ruin one girl's life just because she tried taking in a cat to take care of it, it's extremely disheartening. And the fact that this entire thing could have easily been solved relatively safely if the obsessive woman over that cat just tried taking that step forward to open up at least a little bit. I mean, this girl tried her best to do it amicably in some regard, but just the severe. The fact that this could have easily been solved if they just sat down and talked with each other and realized that they both really care about this cat, it could have easily changed everything. It could have been less tragic. And I think that's the strong suit about that particular episode, because it's so tragic. In which case, this reminds me of why I like Hellgirl so much, because it elicits feelings like that. Especially with situations like that. So, at least for once, I was kind of partially right in one of my theories about how the woman saw that cat. Partially. But damn. I think that could probably be a good way to describe last episode. Just tragic. So, how is this episode going to just try to up the ante? That episode was really good. That one was actually really good. It had a very good setup about a road construction plan that, honestly, the people that developed the road, no, I still blame them entirely for what happened. I'm still gonna blame them. But a road development plan gone wrong, resulting in the death of this dude's little brother. And this one old man who just wants to live the last moments of his life in the home that he had been born in. The one that he had with him this entire time. Everything about this episode was actually just really, really good. And on top of that, we got to see more about Wan Yudo's past. So that was actually really good. And the fact that the old man had actually almost blamed himself too for that little boy's death, and to give compensation to the family, that was incredibly well done. Like he was a really good guy. He was a very good man. And seeing that the residents of hell somehow, just because the timing, the fact that this old man passed away before he could untie the thread, inadvertently saving this guy from dooming himself to hell. And we got to see a moment where the request got invalidated. That was incredibly interesting. But yeah, just everything from that, from the house also breaking down after he had died. Like the house was just waiting, holding on as long as he had held on, until finally they could just rest from then on. That entire episode was actually really what I think this might actually be my most favorite episode of season 2. Like honestly, every episode involving Hajime and Tsugumi, they were like the best episode of season 1, obviously, but this might actually be my most favorite episode of season 2 so far. And I know we still have 14 episodes left, but I'm calling it now. That might have been my most favorite episode of the season, and that could easily change later, but you know what I mean. Just everything about that felt really, really good. And I don't know how else to properly summarize it. Everything about that was really well done, and it felt very impactful and quite emotional in my mind. I needed that. I really did. And if you all like this, be sure to let me know, because this is a really good episode. It had just what I wanted. It changed things up. I got to learn a little bit more about one of the residents of hell, and it had a very emotionally driven concept. It had a very good setup, and I really liked it. Even to Wan Yudo intervening and stopping this dude from, hey, you don't want to die in the same place that your brother did, do you? That was also really well done. I like that. Also, just to see Wan Yudo manhandling a semi-truck quite effortlessly, that was pretty good. But anyway, if you all like this, be sure to let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will definitely see all of you guys in the next video. I am looking forward to seeing what else Season 2 has in store for me.